One of the best things that you can do for your business is to create and nurture your email list. According to the site Campaign Monitor, email marketing has a 36-to-1 return on investment. In other words, you can get $36 in return for every dollar you spend. Of course, to do that, you have to treat your email list subscribers right. One of the best ways to do that is with a good welcome sequence that everyone gets when they subscribe. In this video, we're going to look at the tags and automations you need to create to keep it running smoothly. Hi, my name is William Beam, and I'm best known for helping creators, course developers, and membership owners create a website and configure their online tools. If you're planning on building a WordPress site or already have one, I have a free WordPress owner's checklist you can use to make sure you have everything configured correctly and document all the important details of your site. Just visit suburbiapress.com/WordPress-owners-checklist. That link is going to be in the description below. All right, let's go take a look inside of ConvertKit. I'm using ConvertKit for my email services these days. I really like it. There'll be a link in the description below if you want to get a free trial to it. You can do this technique with any kind of email system that has tags, it has sequences, and it has automation. And I'm going to walk you through the flow of what we're doing with the automations. The first thing I have to do, of course, is when somebody subscribes, let's say that they go get the free checklist I was just talking about, they come up here and they put in their first name, they put in their email address. Well, the next thing that happens is I've got to deliver that. So you can see I've got a few different type of fulfillment automations. So the one for this one, for the WordPress owner's checklist, I just call it fulfillment. And it's really pretty simple. It starts when they get applied a tag. And in this case, the tag is called start dash deliver WordPress owner's checklist. I like to start my tags with kind of a name that lets me know its purpose. And I've got a video on that. I'll link that to the description above. And I'll also have that linked in the... I like to start my tags with something that tells me what the tag's purpose is. So in this case, it's start. I have a naming convention that I like to use, and I've got a video on that. I will go ahead and put that in a card above, and I'll link to that in the description below as well. So in this case, start lets me know that it's going to kick off an automation. So start dash deliver WordPress owner's checklist. When that tag gets applied, which happens when somebody subscribes using this free checklisting. So whenever they fill out this form, it goes ahead and it adds a tag to them, puts it in my ConvertKit system, and that tag starts the automation. So if you're using a different email system, you've got to figure out how is it going to start off the automation? How are you going to add tags? All right, so here's how this is going to work. They're going to get a tag applied to them when they subscribe. They could also be getting subscribed from either my free checklist, which looks like this when they sign up here, the first name and email address. This form is something provided by ConvertKit, and it's embedded on my WordPress site. But another way I have this is I run a Facebook ad, and that Facebook ad may just let them sign up on Facebook so they don't have to go to this page, and it'll give them the same tag, start, deliver WordPress owner's checklist. And then the very first thing I do is I remove that tag. Once they've started it, it's fulfilled its purpose. It's just clutter if I don't remove it. So I don't need that in there. So I just remove that. And then I come down here, I add another tag called status do not disturb. Now you don't have to call it status. I like start for things that start things up. I like status for things that are going on inside of an automation. But that lets me know I don't want to send them my regular broadcast or daily emails or anything like that. They're in the middle of a sequence, and I just kind of want them to concentrate on that. I don't want to bother them or distract them with anything else. That's why I add this do not disturb. The next thing is this fulfillment. So this is where I send them a sequence, and it's only one email. So we'll take a look at that over here. And this is how I deliver the thing that they've requested, the WordPress owner's checklist. So I've got a little thing I would say, hi, congratulations. When they click this, it confirms that it went to the right person, and it also delivers the resource right away. So it's almost instantaneous. There's no delays going on. And that's one of the things I like about working inside of ConvertKit for this. This is going to open up a Google Doc, and then they can make a copy of the resource, and they've got it. They can keep going. I'm telling them what they're getting inside the checklist. And also I'm letting them know down here before I close out that I'm going to be in touch soon with more ways to build and maintain your WordPress site so you can grow your business. And that's really what the fulfillment stage looks like. So we come back over here to the automation, and you see fulfillment. We've just sent that over there. Then I want to wait. I'm going to wait 4 hours. I'm going to remove the do not disturb because since I started that, I want to remove it before I go over to the next automation. And that's this one called a master controller. It is a different automation. We're going to end this, and for a brief moment, they're not going to have a do not disturb, but it's going to apply almost immediately. So let's go take a look at the master controller. Okay, the idea of this master controller, I got it from a guy named Cody Birch. He got it from someone else who taught it to him. But what we're really doing here is if we route everybody through this, it's going to detect, have they been through the welcome sequence or not? In other words, have they been onboarded properly to your email list? It has a tag, Start Master Controller. And again, the same thing I do with every automation, I apply this status, Do Not Disturb. That way, they're not going to get any other emails if I send out a broadcast or something like that. And then I've got this little tag over here that I remove, Start Master Controller. Because just like the last thing we looked at, once I've got the tag applied that kicked this off, I don't need it, so I remove it. And then I've got this status tag, Running Master Controller. So that tag is only going on while I'm inside of an automation. And I do this quite a lot. A status tag I apply inside of an automation to let me know which subscribers are in a given automation. ConvertKit does tell you this, but sometimes you might find that people will get stuck in an automation because if you have a logic error. So applying that tag makes it very quick and easy to see at a glance, how many people have that tag, that's how many people are going through an automation. The next thing I'm doing is coming here and I have this one. So this is a yes/no kind of thing. Basically, it is a conditional. And do they have a tag? It says history, completed the welcome sequence tag. That hasn't been applied yet anywhere else. It's in the welcome sequence. But if they've already been through that, I don't want them to go through it again. So if they have that tag, and history is something that stays with the subscriber throughout their life cycle inside of my email list. So that way I can look at a history of what they've done, what they've interacted with, and I can use it in automations like this. So if they have a history tag that says they've already been through it, they've completed it, then there's a yes or no choice. If the answer is yes, well, I don't want them to do it again. So I will come down over here to the end of that condition. If they haven't been through my welcome sequence yet, well, the first thing I do is I start the welcome sequence. In this case, I've got 3 emails in the welcome sequence, and that kind of gives them the lay of the land of what to expect from being on my email list. And then once that's done, here's history, completed welcome sequence. So that's the same tag that I'm looking for up here. So if they haven't had this tag applied, then they're going to go through the sequence. If they have had this tag applied, they're just going to skip it. I'm going to turn off the status, do not disturb. I'm going to remove the tag, status, running master controller. And then the next thing I want them to do is to go through my welcome sequence. All right, if you remember in the master controller, if they haven't been through the welcome sequence, I add a tag to them that says start the welcome sequence. Here's where the tag gets added. I also have a profile tag, and I put them in as a lead. These are people who have gotten something for free rather than as a paying customer. So I've got a tag for the profile that says, are they leads or are they customers? I kind of like to know the difference between which is which, because that'll affect the messages that I send to them. If somebody's a customer, I probably don't want to sell them the same thing again. So not only will I put them down as a customer, but I'll also put down which products or services that they've purchased. And that way, if I'm doing a promotion later on and talking about the same thing that they've already bought, I don't want to bother them with those email messages. So then we come down here and I add this tag to start the welcome sequence. So that lets them know that they're going to start the sequence. All right, so after I've added that profile, then I come down here, I remove the tag to start the welcome sequence because we're already in the welcome sequence. We've started it. And I just put in a status. Again, this lets me know they had the status tag while they're going through this automation. And then again, I add a status, do not disturb. It's new automation, new do not disturb. This one is the welcome sequence. So if we take a look at this There's 3 messages in here. And here's what I do. It's like, I wait 1 day. They've already gotten their resource. I'm not going to hammer them again with another email right away. So after they've got their resource, the next day, they get the first welcome email. And I do the same thing. So I've got my 3 email sequences, and we'll go through perhaps what these welcome sequences look like or what these emails are like. And there's kind of a format to them. But really, I don't want to drag them out too long, but each day after they've gotten their lead magnet, the checklist, they get, a brief email. And then once that completes, you can see currently I have 18 subscribers. I've got 115 who've been through this. And then I add a history tag. Lets me know they've completed this. And this one is not really a tag so much as it is an event. When someone has this history completed, it will jump down to this point. This is something that is in ConvertKit. Some other email systems have this or some don't. Here's what this really does. If they are in the middle of this sequence and you add a tag that you want to pull them out of the sequence, let's say that maybe this was a sales sequence and there's 5 messages in the sales sequence. They bought on the second message. Well, you don't want to continue showing them the remaining email sequences about trying to convince them to buy when they've already bought. So what you do is you apply a tag to them, and then this little thing right here, this event, will cancel the sequence and will pull them down. Now, for this particular one, I probably don't need this, but it's a good practice to have a way to pull somebody out of a sequence. And that's the way I do it. So if for some reason I want to stop their welcome sequence, I can just add this tag to them, and this will jump them right out of it. I remove the do not disturb. I put up a thing here where this one is also removing the tag for started, the status tag for started the welcome sequence. And then I send them right back to the master controller. There's nothing for them to do there, but that is kind of my practice with an automation is, have they been through the welcome sequence? Yes or no? That's what the master controller does. I may add new things to that later on. I may not, but that is kind of what we're doing here as far as how I am onboarding people with these tags, with the sequences that I'm building, and the automations that guide everybody through it. So they start off with whatever it is that they've requested for free. They get that. They go to the master controller. The master controller checks to see, have they been through the welcome sequence before? If not, they come through this automation and go through the welcome sequence, and they get the emails to go with that. If they have, then it just simply bypasses them and sends them right on to basically my daily broadcast list. So let me give you a quick look at that. So if you create a segment, some other tools might call this a list. Basically, this is a group of people that you can send a particular email. All I'm doing is I give it a name, and then I come up with a filter. So what I want to do is change this. I want to say none. And then I'm going to add a filter, subscribe to tags, and I'm going to look for the status, do not disturb. And then I add that filter. And then you can see that changes the number of subscribers that I have that I'm going to be able to send this to. So basically, if they don't have this tag, it's safe to go ahead and email them. So let me cancel that. Although I showed this system using ConvertKit, you should be able to create it or something similar to it in any email that provides tags, sequences, and automation tools. If you're interested in ConvertKit, you can get a free trial using my link in the description below. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful, and I'll see you again in the next video.